when a man tells me his body count and it's like, it's high, I'm like, bro, I don't think you're cool. I don't think you got it like that. I just think you're a now, and I wouldn't date you. I wouldn't marry you. I wouldn't even kiss you. You're actually, that's no.
I'm just gonna say this right now. The day a man likes me, I'm getting married. Get married. Because what do you mean? Like, I swear, these men are walking around, they don't like their daughters, they don't like their mamas, they don't like their sisters, I really don't think they like women in general. Like, they really do not like us. It's like, what do you mean? The day a man thinks that I'm the best thing since sliced bread, lock in. That's all I gotta say is lock in. You better be ready.
I'm independent and I'm this and I've worked hard and I'm successful. I didn't realize that was actually making me attract men who were a little bit weak-minded, not fully in their masculine. And 100%. Then I'd be getting frustrated because I'd be like, well, hold on a second, you're not in your masculine. But that's because I'm not in my feminine. Most of the time it is a wound. It is an insecurity. I was always just getting disappointed by people. And then I'd get mad at myself. So then when I would start going out dating and I say to myself, well, I've got to start again, I would always be like, well, I'm going to go in there and be this like dominant, confident woman. It's a shield. Yeah. It's a front. Really deep down, you're scared. You don't want to get hurt. You think that's going to win the person over. It might win a person over, but it won't always win the right person over.
Now that's real. A lot of women don't realize that masculine energy attracts masculine energy. When you're constantly in that defensive, dominant mode, you're filtering out the actual men who want to lead. It's a shield, like she said. And then later, they wonder why they're attracting guys who either can't handle them or don't respect them. The armor works, just not the way they think it does.
Who changed my life? Because I had been studying men for about 6 months and unknowingly was using everything I was learning against them. I became better at attacking them and manipulating them because of what I'd learned about them. And Ellen called me at Ending Hunger Orange County, which is the organization I was the head of, and said, Allison, men are attracted to you like bees to honey. And when you're done with them, it's as if they've been with a vampire.
Wow.
I'm like, little old me. And she proceeded to tell me about every time she'd seen me emasculate a man, diminish a man, take the wind out of his sails every time.
What did that look like? Because, and the reason I've got to ask this is I think most women don't even know when they're emasculating a man.
Yeah.
They wouldn't think they're emasculating a man at all.
Can I point out the two tracks we're on?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Here?
Yeah, please
do.
No,
because they go together. So all the things we do to try to get a man to love us, we don't have to. And it even gets in the way because men already love us. We don't have to work to get them to love us. If we stop diminishing them, if we stop disempowering them, if we stop making it harder for them to produce the results that they've got to produce, that's what gets in the way. The love part, they grant that. They are born adoring their mothers, looking into those eyes. And just,
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
Dating for marriage. I posted a video about why men choose one woman over another. A man commented and said, if we can sleep with you without marriage, there's a part of us that loses respect, even if we don't say it. And while that wasn't the explicit point of my original video, I'm so grateful this man admitted this because it reveals why so many men lose respect, even if it's subconscious, and get comfortable and settle in premarital dynamics, whether that be the girlfriend stage or a situationship. And most men will not admit this because premarital access to a woman's body benefits them. And this is not about withholding access so a man respects you. This is about respecting your body, your energy, your standards, and your soul. This is why I teach women to date multiple men until the right one for them bends the knee. No attachment, no exclusivity, and no access to your body until there is real commitment on the table. And if you're afraid he will leave you if you do not sleep with him, understand this. A man that is serious about you will see this as a green flag, not a threat. Most women do not date this way. So when you move differently, men notice. You become rare and the one they want to marry. Marriage-minded women women move differently. And if you are dating for marriage and you want to communicate your standards without over-explaining or pushing a man away, my Dating for Marriage guidance script is available.
You could have the most full roster as a woman of the most manly men. You move, okay? No one wants to help you with moving. Where did they go? Okay, suddenly all these men, they become businessmen. Okay, I thought I was getting into guys that were like lumberjacks, okay, could help lift some boxes. No, suddenly I'm dating men that have never been to the gym, I guess. They can't help me with anything. Okay, then why are you here then? Clearly you don't like me enough then. I have to hire movers. I have to hire men. Okay, where are the men? I don't know. I have to hire them to help me. You like me, but not enough to help me move? Okay. We're changing the whole roster up. No one's getting renewals. Whole team's getting traded.
This is what female delusion looks and sounds like, and it's entitlement. And it's why men are not dating anymore. She's got a roster and expects men to drop everything just to cater to her. This is the whole thing. Women love to scream equality and 50-50 until it doesn't benefit them and responsible for their 50%. And then it becomes oppression. Then it's toxicity. Then suddenly men aren't being chivalrous or doing what they're supposed to do. My question is, what are you bringing to these so-called manly men? You're not going to commit to any of them. You just use the roster when you need something, dates, attention, help moving. And men aren't idiots. They see exactly what's going on, and the they might get isn't worth moving your couch and ruining their Saturday. It's evident the second you say you'll just replace the whole roster, that says everything about you, not the men. And see, men aren't playing the game anymore because it's rigged and the rules only benefit women. They're no longer willing to ride the bench until a woman needs something. The feminist lie is that you can remove obligation, remove reciprocity, remove roles, and still expect benefits those roles used to provide. You don't get to reject traditional expectations of women while still demanding traditional behavior from men. See, men aren't obligated to protect or provide, and definitely not to show up on command for someone who offers absolutely nothing. Chivalry was tied to responsibility, loyalty, and mutual respect. You don't get the benefits of it while rejecting everything that made it exist in the first place. Sure, I'm sure you can find some simps out there who think they owe you something just because you're a woman, and maybe they'll help you if they think they have a shot. But they probably can't lift your couch, and your bed definitely can't fit in their Prius.
Hey, before you go, big thank you to Daniel for tagging me on this video. It was a good one. If you come across anything that you think I would like or you would like to see me break down a review, tag me on it or send it to me. It would be great because I'm always looking for new content and I will give you a shout out.
A lot of these modern women don't really want a partner. They want a man's validation. They want his attention. They want his money. They want his lifestyle. But they don't really bring anything to the table. Why in the world would a man think that's a good deal? Why would a man sign up for that? Absolutely not.
Sam lying. There ain't no single fine man with no kids that got everything together that's looking for a single woman with no kids that got all her together. Sam lying. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Where you at? Let me see.
So if a dad can go to jail for falling behind on child support, getting criminal contempt charges filed against him for missing a payment, then don't you think there should be accountability for mothers on what they're actually spending that child support on? I feel like there should be another rule, another law that says, Mom, you have to provide receipts for every single dime that you spent that child support on. And if you don't, you're looking at criminal contempt charges as well. And you might do jail time too. What do you think?
Women will say, I want a traditional man. I want a traditional man with traditional values. But you want that traditional man to not want a traditional woman because you want to still get to be a feminist. And you want him to like that about you. You want him to be a traditional, God-loving man who provides and protects, who's masculine, who's gentlemanly. But you want that guy to want a boss babe and to embrace the boss babe in you and to embrace your career ambition and to embrace the very thing about your life, that career that takes you away from those children and puts those kids with a nanny or an au pair, best case scenario, and worst case scenario, daycare. That's not a traditional man. That's not what they want. It doesn't work that way. You want a traditional man? Then you got to be a traditional woman.
Nah, that's the point right there. You can't pick and choose like that. A man who's actually traditional, who's leading, providing, protecting, he's not going to sign up to be supportive of something that fundamentally contradicts what he believes. It doesn't work both ways. You want the benefits of traditional masculinity, but keep the freedom to do whatever you want? That man's going to look elsewhere. That's just reality.
I'm not mad at white folks about what their ancestors did to my ancestors and some of you motherfuckers still trying to do. I just know that we all got to live together. We got to work together. That's why you ever watch my act, you'll see I don't even do no motherfucking racist jokes. So I'm going to just do one. Okay. White man, a black man, an Asian, and a Hispanic. They're all on top of this tall mountain, Mount Jaro, Mount whatever. The Hispanic said, this is for my people, jumped off the mountain. The Asian said, this is for my people, jumped off the mountain. Black man said, this is for my people, grabbed the white dude, threw that. But white folks, when you tell it, just flip it. Just flip it. Anybody can tell it, just flip it.
The bar that much. A couple weeks ago, I posted a video. I was sitting at Trader Joe's, getting ready to go in, and a couple next to me in the car, they come over, and the guy simply just opened the door for his girlfriend, wife, whatever she was. And I said, oh my God, that's so nice. Wow, I love seeing that. And I wrote, oh my God, you idiot, that should be the bare minimum. Like, even role reversal, if I was at a store and I saw someone walking behind me, a guy, and I held the door for him, like, at the time, no one was saying anything. Yes, a ton of females liked the video, but for some odd reason, it now has made its way over to like the male side of TikTok, and it has gotten some traction and pissed off a lot of the men. I am getting hate comments that I'm saying that I think it should be the bare minimum that you possibly maybe open the door for your girlfriend once in a while, or wife, whatever she is. One guy suggested in his comments that I should be wearing a helmet, insinuating I'm a and then I said, what? That's not very nice. And then he proceeded to write back and post a picture of clown shoes. What am I missing here?
Look, here's what's happening. She's calling door opening the bare minimum, but then gets surprised when men push back and stop doing it altogether. That's cause and effect. You can't insult a man for a gesture, shame him online, and then expect him to keep doing it. Men notice that stuff. They adapt. So now we're here, and she's wondering why the energy changed.
You don't take child support payments from him, do you? Yes. He should have. On Venmo, he should. That makes it so much easier on him to just Venmo me instead of going to the bank. He's doing everything the easiest that can possibly be done for Chase, and he's done that the whole time. Why would you not want it to be easy if he's going to send you money? Why would you not want that to be easy? You not want that to be, he's in school and working, and sending you a Venmo is a problem? Yes or no? Why does it have to be like, why do you already have? You answer questions. Yes, it's a problem.
You have so many single mothers that do not get the financial assistance that they need from the deadbeat father. And here you have a mother who is intentionally blocking the financial assistance that her child needs. In part of the video, she said, why doesn't he bring me cash? Now, the only reason I can think that you would want him to bring you cash is so later on you can make him out to be a deadbeat and say that he's not taking care of his kid financially. Because by him sending Venmo, he has paper trail to show what he's doing if he needs to go back to court. And if you were intentionally making it this difficult for him to send you money, I can only imagine what she's doing when it comes time for him to want to see his kid.
That's kind of telling women that they shouldn't have their standards. And I don't like that, because I feel like women should have their standards. And if your standards are high, keep them high. If you can deliver, if you know what you bring to the table. So I feel like some women, they do have very high standards, but I just think as long as you know yourself and you know that you are also bringing a lot to the table, then there's nothing wrong with you wanting that in a man. So for example, I have a lot of female clients who will not go on coffee dates. And it's not because she's looking for someone that's rich and she wants to rinse him. It's more just that she wants to see that he actually puts in effort. That's what women want to see. And I said that before. It's about the intention. You can plan a cost-effective date. You don't need to break the bank, fellas. You can take a woman out to a nice, cute brunch. That's effort. And that's what women want to see, okay? It's not about going to the Ritz. It's just about the intent and the effort.
Modern women say they want men to yearn for them like men used to do back in the 90s. What the f is a man yearning for?
I don't have any feelings, ever.
It seems like when a woman gets with a man, she's looking at his pockets more than she is anything else about him. And why would a man want to put himself in a situation with a pretty parasite and keep on chasing her when all he's doing is wasting his money?
You're a rest haven for hoes.
She's dating multiple people.
Reasons why you should be dating multiple men at once. People are like, oh no, just date one person and then get a real feel for him, then move on to the next. Nah, we're not wasting time over here. We're dating multiple men at once.
She's not trying to give you any type of reciprocation towards your energy.
When I be around a man, I don't do nothing. I be lazy.
She's not doing anything that the women who men used to yearn for does.
You're damn right.
So what is the benefit of a man yearning for a woman who has no type of skills like the women used to have?
I need an emotional connection.
And does not respect men like women used to when men yearn for them.
You ain't never lied.
The truth is, until the women sweeten up, the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
To be honest, these high standards that these modern women have is really just foolishness. You spend your 20s, for some of these modern women, you spend your 30s getting run through by Chad and Tyrone. And now you want a good man to listen to your demands and the things that you have to say. No, absolutely not. That's stupidity. Get the heck out of my face.
And I'm hoping you guys can help me settle something.
Okay, I'll be happy to help.
And we can put the rumors to rest once and for all.
Ooh, rumors. I like rumors. I don't, but what's up?
Men ever not pursue a woman because they are intimidated by her?
Ah, that rumor. No.
Men ever not pursue a woman because they're just too scared of how much they're going to fall in love with her?
Ah, that other rumor. No, that's not true either.
I've been fed this tale that if a man is not pursuing you and a man is not making plans with you, that's probably because he's intimidated by you. He's intimidated by your success. He's intimidated by your beauty. He's intimidated by how fancy of a lifestyle you have.
Yeah, you know who fed you that rumor? Other women. Neither are true. If a man isn't pursuing you, it's just because he's not into you. I mean, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that he personally does not like you in that way. Hopefully that helps.
What it is that women are just too scared to admit that he's just not that into you and that he just doesn't like us.
Oh, okay, you got there on your own. Good. Sometimes it's not even really you. It's what he thinks you are based on his past experiences. Like, you might remind him of someone, like your lifestyle, your success, all that stuff. You remind him of someone else that he pursued and that just like failed spectacularly. So he doesn't want to do all that again. So he's like, you know what? I'm probably going to avoid this type of person in the future. So once again, it's not even you, it's kind of you. But don't take it personally. There's like literally a billion people out there.
Any person who's ever said the line, you don't even have any gold to dig and you're worried about gold diggers, this is one of the saddest videos I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys have seen this video, but this is a pretty common thing that a lot of women do. These girls are so desperate to get like $5 lemon drop shots that like the performance that these girls put on to get these free drinks, it is genuinely so sad.
Are you ordering?
Yeah, I'm waiting in line.
Oh, what'd you say?
Yeah, I'm waiting in line.
Oh, okay, can I wait you? Good, we're trying to get you on off. I'm not getting anything. Do you want to take a bus? Do you want to take one box of us?
I'm going to try this friend.
Okay.
Andrew.
Highly.
Good to meet you.
I'm very nice video. One box of us.
I'm going to take I'm going to stick with my usual.
What first do you like?
I don't know what you got.
I don't take shots either. I don't take shots either.
think I'm okay. I just messaged you. Can't do it. So, you want the fifth girl who's done that tonight. I swear.
Like, you're telling me that going and acting out and having to converse with a bunch of random strangers that you're not even interested in, you'd rather do that than just pay the $5 to $6 that it takes to get the shot in the first place. This is why when I see those videos of girls being like, oh yeah, you don't have any gold to dig, like, you forget that the gold diggers for men that are in middle income are probably broke or also middle income. So they're not asking you to buy them a Ferrari. There are girls like this that are probably middle to lower class and then sit there and they don't have a lot of money. So they literally need you to pay for $5 to $6 shots and are willing to put on an Oscar-worthy performance just to go and get it. Like, they're really fiending for money that bad and their alcohol addiction is that bad that in order for them to go and get shots, they have to go and sit there and talk to a bunch of random strangers, then just putting their card down and getting some shots. Like, why the new term of financial celibacy for a lot of men is a realistic option, because I don't think you should be investing any transactions, any money before you actually see if somebody's interested in you. I don't care if it's a drink, maybe there's some reasoning for going on a date where you're talking this, but yes, there are women out there that are broke, just like these women, that literally will use you for $4 to $6 shots, or willing to put on an Emmy award-winning performance just so they can get a drink. Like, this is so pathetic. But that's just my opinion. But hey, what do you think?
One of my favorite forms of hetero is a very powerful straight woman that absolutely hates men, that dates a little subby man that's afraid of her. Sister, you did that. I'm so proud of you. I'm just like watching a movie, crying, eating my popcorn, like, yes, this is the world we need to live in. And my take is that I think that for straight women, they're like, when am I going to find my person? Like, when am I going to find a nice guy? Step 1, do you hate men? Step 2, did you stop dating them? Step 3, it'll all work out. I promise you, in the long run, it'll be a beautiful thing.
At some point as a man, you will start to realize that if you continue to be in relationships and the women think like this, you are taking advantage of them. You really taking advantage of a woman. Like, this is a different level of crazy. This is a different level of delusion that need to be studied. Because y'all call every single thing about men, and then you go describe a man that's gonna make you happy all of a sudden. 3 million views on this shit. All women agreeing with this stupid. Look, if you have kids, they gonna be watching how y'all treat each other. And you think you're supposed to be a hateful person to your partner? You so selfish and inconsiderate. This really made you tear up, huh? Everything is just about y'all. These people are really loyal to their feelings only. Because they live in their head and their thoughts turn into feelings. She thinking about the dumbest shit and making her feel like this is what love is. And then they be asking what a real man at. Not in y'all head. They in the real world, but y'all don't appreciate real. Y'all like to think about things that make y'all feel good. But actions speak louder than words or thoughts. Nothing is happening up there, but it just made you feel better than any man in real life probably could. It's so crazy when these women would rather choose a bear. They would rather take accountability for who they are. A lot of them really need to be checked in somewhere. And the fact that the government will give them custody most of the time, they want the kids to grow up the way they growing up. That's how it happened to them. Subscribe to my YouTube, Planet Reality.
Look, he's touching on something real here. A lot of women will tear down all men, then turn around fantasizing about some fantasy guy that doesn't exist. Meanwhile, they're passing that confusion down to their kids who grow up thinking that's normal. That's the damage. It's not about hate. It's about inconsistency and what that teaches the next generation.
Nothing is crazier to me than the fact that we live in a world where a man can apologize sincerely, wholeheartedly, buy the flowers, buy the cards, and a woman's response 9 times out of 10 will almost always be, oh, you're only doing this to save your ass. Or, oh, you're only doing this now that I'm upset. So you mean to tell me that when a man apologizes, he's still in the wrong because he didn't apologize the way that it went in your head or what your imaginary expectations assumed? Another example of this is that a man can plan an entire vacation, but his wife or girlfriend will complain the entire time. Like, oh, you picked the wrong flight. Oh, you got us the wrong seats on the plane. Oh, you didn't pack the right shoes. Oh, it wasn't the place that I thought we were going to stay. So she'll the entire time because it doesn't match the imaginary itinerary in her head. And then when that same man stops apologizing or stops planning dates because he feels undervalued and unappreciated and doesn't want to listen to the complaining, even when he follows through and does something nice, now he's a piece of now he never plans anything. Now you guys are not going on dates anymore. Now he doesn't prioritize you, and now he sucks and you want a divorce or you want to leave him because it's not like it was in the beginning. And it's so backwards because even when men are nice, they're treated like, and even when they're mean, they're still treated like, and nothing they do is ever good enough. And it's almost like women should plan their own and then just expect the husband or boyfriend to show up. But if that's the case, because you hear this during the holidays, like, oh, I did everything and dad just, is surprised by all of the gifts, then he's still a piece of shit. So which one is it? Do you want him to plan? Do you want him to apologize? Do you want him to be included in Christmas? Or do you want to stop making up all of this mental load and taking on the responsibility and actually appreciate your husband or boyfriend for exactly who he is? Somebody make it make sense. Okay, bye.
I think men are coming to realize that a lot of these women don't really want a partner. They just kind of want a man's validation. They want his attention, they want his money, they want his lifestyle, all those good things. But then, God forbid, heaven forbid, a man asks, what do you bring to the table? Nothing. And once again, I would ask, why is a man going to sign up for that? Why would a man be happy to take that on? He would.
Okay, let's talk. A lot of women want a masculine man, but then you all show up in the relationship acting like his competition, not his counterpart. You say you want a leadership, presence, effort, protection, but your energy blocks every single thing you say you want. So let me break this down real quick, because if you can't embody these 5 traits, you're not calling in masculine energy, you're repelling it. Number 1, receptivity. Girl, let him show up. Some of you want a man to lead, but you argue with him every time he tries. You want him to plan, but you reject every suggestion. A man doesn't rise where he's micromanaged. He rises where he's received. Second, emotional softness. Listen, hyper-independence looks glamorous on Instagram, but in real life, men don't fall for hardness. They fall for warmth. Softness isn't about crying in the corner. It's the vibe, the way you talk to him, the way you look at him, the way you open up without making him feel like he's walking into a fire zone. Softness doesn't make you weak. It makes you magnetic. Third, appreciation. Here's a secret men don't tell you. They notice everything you appreciate and everything you don't. You don't have to throw a parade. Just acknowledge the effort. Men are simple. What gets appreciated gets repeated. What gets criticized gets deleted. If you want consistency, you better recognize effort, because no man keeps pouring into a woman who acts like it's bare minimum. Number 4, emotional accountability. And this one separates grown women from emotional toddlers. Your triggers, your wounds, your past hurt, that's your homework. A man cannot fix pain he didn't cause. And when you throw emotional chaos at him every time you're overwhelmed, you're being irresponsible. Accountability sounds like, I'm upset, but I know this isn't all on you. This is my trigger, not your disrespect. Men don't run away from emotions. They run away from blame. Number 5, respect. The one thing that turns a man from I'm here for a good time to I'm here for the long term. Respect doesn't mean yes, sir. Respect his tone. Respect is not talking to him sideways. Respect is not emasculating him because you're annoyed. Respect is not comparing him to other men, like a TikTok trend. By the way, stop doing that. If you can't speak to him with respect when you're mad, he'll never trust you with his heart when he's soft. Respect is the entry point to his masculinity, not beauty, not
not vibes, respect. Feminine energy isn't about dresses, makeup, or being girly. It's about your emotional posture. Your softness invites his strength. Your receptivity invites his leadership. Your appreciation invites his consistency. Your accountability invites his vulnerability. Your respect invites his commitment. And if you're not getting masculinity from him, check the energy you're giving.
If you're living with a man and you guys live here, you're living with the provider. If you're living with a man and you guys live here, you're living with the loser.
You know, Natalie, there's a huge population of this world all over the globe that lives in poverty. They didn't have the same access to education, opportunities, investments, all kinds of varying factors that may cause men and women to live in that second type of home. And for you to tell those people that if you don't live in a big, luxurious home, you're a loser is judgmental and ignorant of you. Let me see if I get this right, Natalie. You're saying that if a man lives in a big, luxurious home, he's a winner. But if a man lives in a small, maybe run-down home, he's a loser. By your logic, that means you are also telling all of the women who don't have enough money to buy luxurious homes, all of the women who live in those tiny little homes, that they're losers too. Or did you just want to project this onto men? Because once again, Natalie, there are men and women all over this world that live in poverty, that those small little homes, that's all they can afford. But that says nothing about the content of their character. Me personally, I grew up with friends that were dirt poor, lived in poverty. I, in fact, looked the other way when some of my friends stole things like bread just because they didn't have enough money to eat that week. I grew up with friends that were in real poverty, and you want to know something, Natalie? They didn't have big homes. They didn't have any car to speak of. They didn't have fancy shoes. They didn't hardly have enough clothes to put on their back, but they were some of the best people I ever knew. Both men and women that were dirt poor, but that I would call a friend any day of the week because they were good human beings. So for you to sit there and say that I know somebody's a winner because of how big their house is, and I know how much of a loser someone is because of how small their house is ignorant and judgmental of you, and you need to do better. Imagine being such a judgmental piece of crap human being that you're going to tell somebody that you know nothing about that they are a loser based off of the size of the property that they live in. Lastly, I will say this to anybody watching my videos who might be poor, who can't afford the fancy things in life, who don't have the big houses. None of those things make you a good person, a winner, or a loser. What makes you a good person and a winner is what is in here and what is in here, because I would rather hang out with the poorest of people who are rich inside here than the richest of people who have nothing inside of here. And that's all I have to say. You guys let me know what you think about this comment section. Like and share this video. Dedicate after that.
There's no sassy man epidemic. There's no who gonna be the boys epidemic. There's literally nothing of the sort. What y'all are not understanding is men now understand desirability politics in a way that is now more detrimental than it ever could have been. It's not moral to give a. It's not moral to get all these accolades and all these different things to get women to like you. Y'all will a bum because he got some good. Think about it from a perspective of a who might think he gotta get all these things and all this other, right? Maybe if he just finds a girl that likes him for how he just looks and how he is right then and there, he might be happier. Wait, if people like me, I don't have to do these things and jump through these hoops that society said I had to before.
I 100% agree with everything he's saying, but I think this applies to both genders. A lot of times people don't treat you the way that you treat them. People treat you the way that they feel about you. And I think that is the strong disconnect, especially in modern dating, because it's like, yeah, you could be giving somebody attention, validation on the men's side, maybe sometimes money, on the women's side, sometimes, and that person might really like the things that you're giving to them. But that doesn't mean they really like you. And so I think what he's saying is completely valid. If you're a man who doesn't want to be a provider, then don't. Find a woman who likes you for you. Find a woman who wants to go 50-50 and doesn't have those expectations of a partner. Now, I personally don't think that a woman wanting a man who is going to be a provider is wrong. I just think that everyone needs to kind of stay in their lane and decide to date people who match what they want and stop shaming people who don't. I also will say I don't personally agree with what he said about how you don't always have to do all of that stuff if a woman really likes you, because there are some women who are genuinely looking for guys who will be providers, and they're not just out here hooking up with a bunch of, random guys on the side. But I think in general, like, both genders are waking up and kind of seeing real tangible examples of how the gender they're trying to date actually treats people that they really like. And it applies both ways. Genuinely, it does. For me personally, I've fallen into the cute but not hot category for a lot of guys. And so I've noticed a clear difference between how they would treat me, where they would be nice to me, they would text me, but they wouldn't be as motivated. They wouldn't be kind of fawning over me. They definitely wouldn't be trying to spend money on me like that in the way that they would when they saw a woman who was really, really hot. Been in situations with guys where they would say that I was everything that they wanted, but then they would end up immediately committing to a woman who was nothing that they said they wanted personality wise, but she met their aesthetic preference. So I think after you see those examples, you're just like, okay, I only want to date somebody who is very attracted to me from the jump. I don't want the things that I do for them or having to overcompensate with a bunch of qualities for them to sort of overlook the fact that they're lukewarm attracted to me. And I think that perspective is fair because I also have the same one. So yeah, I think that women should stop getting on social media and complaining that guys don't approach them as much or guys aren't willing to take them to fancy, expensive restaurants. If that's what you want, then find a guy who does that. If a lot of guys don't want to do that, then that's their choice. Same as some of the men who might get on here and say, oh, if she doesn't let me hit within the first 3 dates, she's gone. Like, okay, you can have your preferences, but that doesn't mean that she's wrong for not doing that. And I've seen guys kind of try to tear women down and be like, oh, we're grown. Why don't we just do it? It's like, that's gross. Everybody is entitled to their boundaries, their standards, and their preferences. I think the overall message of this is just find somebody who fits what you want, who likes you for you, and who aligns with what you want in a relationship. But that is my personal opinion, so let me know what you guys think. Bye.
Ain't it funny how you hear men these days talking about how they want a traditional woman? And on the surface, what does that sound like? That kind of sounds like they looking for somebody to do a little cooking, a little cleaning, taking care of the kids, making sure he okay, that kind of stuff. But see, a traditional woman is supposed to have a traditional man. And here's the problem that comes along with being a traditional man. See, back in the day, traditional men paid all the bills. He didn't split rent. He didn't talk about no 50-50. He was highly capable, and he fixed things around the house after he got off work without waiting weeks for a handyman to show up. He worked long hours, and he carried the weight of financial security, not only for himself, but for his family. And he still showed up day in and day out as protector and provider. And something else he never did? He never sat across from a woman and asked her, so, what do you bring to the table? Another thing he never did was refer to himself as an alpha male. He didn't have to. It already showed up with him when he walked in the door. You could feel the energy. He didn't need to say a word. But see, today, many modern men want women to play by the old rules while they themselves play by the new ones. They want a partner that cooks like their mama, nurtures like their grandmama, and still shows up in the bedroom like a freak in the sheets. And at the same time, they expect her to chip in on the bills, clean the house, take care of the kids, and have the same energy at home that she had at work. What? Sweet baby, that is not traditional. That's convenience. And what you need to ask yourself is, convenience for who? If we're going to have an honest conversation about this, let's do it. But we cannot cherry pick the parts of tradition that just serve one side. We can either embrace the full picture of what being traditional means, or we can acknowledge that we're in a new era where balance and partnership look different. But at the end of the day, no matter what, you can't be sitting around here asking for a traditional woman and expecting for her to be a traditional woman if you're not ready to crawl your little self into the shoes of a traditional man. See, some of y'all want to rewrite the roles so that her part is one thing and your part is another. What you're doing is rewriting it so it's easier for you and harder for her. And baby, it just don't work that way. Relationships do not thrive or survive on double standards. They survive on consistency and sacrifice. So brothers, if you asking for tradition, make sure that you're willing to carry the same weight that the men before you carried. If not, take 2 seats. Because what you're really asking for is not tradition, it's comfort at somebody else's expense. And that's not love. That's imbalance. Think about it.
I think what's crazy is that a lot of women want a traditional man, but they bring, this modern, weird energy to a relationship, and they wonder why it doesn't work. You want a provider, but you're competing with the man, right? I mean, you want a protector. You want somebody to, you want somebody to be your peace, but you telling them you don't need protection. You telling them you want some type of weird chaos. Right? That's weird. Y'all be wanting a leader but don't want to follow. That's contradictory behavior, bro. You can't have it both ways. Like when you enter into a partnership, you either have to be a partner. Some of y'all be in these partnerships and y'all be competitors. Y'all be competing with the guy. Y'all acting like y'all going into y'all acting like y'all setting up business across the street from him. And you're in a relationship.